I just read the epic science fiction novel Dune by Frank Herbert, and then I saw the brand new Denis Villeneuve film Dune in theaters, not on HBO Max. I went to a theater, saw it on IMAX. It was amazing. I'll talk about it in a second, but in this video, I'm going to compare both the book and the film, talk about how they're different, how they're similar, what I liked about both, what I didn't like about them, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you which one I think is better, so stick around. This video will contain spoilers about the book and the film, so here's your warning, and please, before we get into it, please like and subscribe. I am so close to my goal of 1,000 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Here we go. For those of you who don't know the film, if you haven't seen it, which shame on you if you haven't, but it's only part 1 of 2, so it's only based on the first half of the novel. So for the purposes of this video, I'll only really be talking about the first half of the book. Dune, the novel, was first published in 1965 and is about, how do I describe it? It's about the Atreides family, which is one of the great houses, one of the great families of the galaxy. The Atreides family has been ordered by the Emperor to leave their lush home planet of Caladan and take control of the coveted spice production on the barren desert planet Arrakis. And there's a whole lot more that happens after that. This might be my favorite science fiction novel that I've ever read. I mean, the amount of detail and the depth of the lore and the world building and the characters and the history of this world that Herbert has created. I was reading it and I was like, the only thing that I can compare this to with this level of depth to the lore is The Lord of the Rings. And wouldn't you know, there's a quote on the back of the book from none other than the legendary science fiction author Arthur C. Clarke, and he says, quote, I know nothing comparable to it except The Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's even got an appendix at the end of the book and a glossary of terms just like Lord of the Rings. So this world that Herbert has created is built on a 3-point, I guess, triangular civilization. And on one point, you've got the Emperor, who is evil. Hey, evil Emperor. I wonder where I've heard or seen that before. Except this came out before Star Wars. Then you've got the great houses of the Landsraad, like the Atreides family. And then the third point of the triangle, you've got the Guild, which has a monopoly on interstellar transport, so they have a lot of power too. And I mentioned that the story is about the Atreides family, but it's really centered on the character Paul. Paul is a 15-year-old son of a duke, and he is a Messiah character. He has incredible abilities and powers. He can access parts of his brain outside of time and space where he can see events from the past and timelines of the future. And it's all very confusing at times, but super cool. Now, this film has been adapted into a movie and a TV series previously. I haven't seen the series, and I remember as a kid only getting a few minutes into David Lynch's 1984 film, but I could not make it past this scene. That scared the crap out of me. This newest film, though, is directed by the incomparable Denis Villeneuve, who I think is today's greatest working director. Maybe only Christopher Nolan rivals him. And I'm including, guys like Tarantino and Scorsese, some legends that are still working. I think Villeneuve is the best right now. The easiest compliment I can give this film is one that I can give all of Villeneuve's films, is that it is visually spectacular. You need to see this film on the biggest screen possible. This film has an excellent cast. I mean, Oscar Isaac and Timothée Chalamet and Josh Brolin are all great. Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho, really loved his performance. But I will say, I think the standout star in this film is Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica. She gives a really powerful performance and probably exhibits the most emotion of anybody in the film. And I gotta mention the Emperor's elite fighting force called the Sardaukar. The film features a chant that I'm pretty sure was a recording of me after a big meal. I will say this though, the Sardaukar are not as menacing in combat in the film as they are portrayed in the book. I mean, they're taken out pretty easily in several occasions in the film. But like I said, the book is filled with so much detail and lore that you really get a sense of the settings and the people and the cultures in this world, and a part of that is missing from the movie. The capital city of Arrakis, Arrakeen, felt a little underdeveloped in the film. I mean, it's this huge city. You do get a beautiful aerial view of it, but you're not really given much of a sense of what life is like there and what the city people are like. You get more of that in the book. Not a lot, but a little. There were also some fairly significant moments in the first half of the book that did not make it into the movie. I'm thinking specifically of the dinner party scene in the novel. I really enjoyed that part of the book, and unfortunately, it was not in the movie. The movie also entirely skips the part where the character Thufir Hawat suspects and confronts Lady Jessica of being a traitor. And while it may not seem that significant, it does come back into play in the second half of the book. And it'll be interesting to see how or if they address that in some way at all. The movie also starts much differently than the book. So the book, the very first introduction is of Paul and the Gom Jabbar scene where he puts his hand in the box and has to go through this test of pain. The movie, though, starts with this ceremony where emissaries from the Imperium come to formally announce that the Atreides family is going to be taking over the planet Arrakis. And I didn't mind that because it does kind of set the stage and it explains what's going on. And it was also just visually amazing to behold. One part of the film that I was just like, why did they do it that way, is the carry-all that comes to lift up the big spice excavator off the ground because the sandworm is coming. In the book, that carry-all never comes at all. In the movie, it has like a malfunctioning part, which is why I couldn't lift it off. But in the book, it had been sabotaged by the Harkonnens, so it never comes, and I liked that better. Dr. Yue, the traitor, is not nearly as developed in the film as he is in the book, and neither is Dr. Kynes, who, by the way, they made a woman in the film. Dr. Kynes is a guy in the book. Okay, so which one do I like better, the book or the movie? The movie is excellent. Villeneuve is a master filmmaker, but the book is astounding. I would put it on the Mount Rushmore of science fiction novels. Having read this book, I am so pumped for Dune Part 2. It's gonna be bananas. All right, I wanna hear from you. Have you read Dune? Have you seen the new film? Let me know your thoughts on both. What did I leave out? What did I miss? What do you agree with about what I said? What do you strongly disagree with? Let me hear it in the comments. And please, again, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos in the near future. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.